All right, click the links to join the channel here over at Subscribestar. This is like take whatever. I did the first version of this and it just went into bizarre, more politically incorrect territory. And I put on Subscribestar because I'm just kind of the wrong person to talk about this movie because the subject matter just goes in so many fascinating directions, as you'll find out at the end. So, Blue Beetle, ignored by DC fans. I watched Blue Beetle, so you don't have to. Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I didn't actually watch it. I watched enough of it to get the idea, and it was Blue Cockroach would probably be the better, more apt title. But SJWs probably would not have been okay with that. But I mean, like, they're never okay with anything because they're a bunch of bleeding pussies who have to whine about everything for that. Please pay me attention while I get some dopamine and virtue signal about how much I hate everything. But the SCWs didn't go see the movie either. As it turned out, nobody saw the movie, and we're way out of the whole woo flu psychop by now. Oh, I'm sorry, YouTube. Trust the government and media. Movies are back on the menu. I mean, movies have been. It's like that. It's been 3 years. I know. Though I think they're going to try to bring it back for election season. You always trust the government, whatever they report. It's totally accurate. So this only did 25 million, which is an absolute bomb, even under the low expectations of 30 million. The only movie it beat was the feminist anti-white Wonder Woman 84, which did 16 million dollars. But I mean, that was during the height of this whole, all that nonsense that happened. I mean, the totally believable thing that wasn't a psyop that happened. So for comparison, some of the who's that? That Patty Rinkman or something? The Patty Jenkins. She really seems to hate people look like you. Anyway, that movie sucked. Sweaty donkey balls. So for comparison, though, some of the Batman or Superman movies after the Federal Reserve inflation Weimar adjustment did over $100 million in the opening weekend. So I went sailing and saw as much of this taco-flavored kisses from my band movie as I could stand before I had to switch it off. And if you want me to actually go to the local theater and see and review the whole thing, you can just cash out the ticket and popcorn and I can go. Okay, so some of the reasons why this CGI abortion failed, and there actually are a lot of factors depending on how long you want to make a video about a movie that very few people are going to see. You can start, it's a smaller character that should have had a few moments in earlier films to kind of pop people's cherries. Test the reaction first, let them connect with the audience for a few years. If they like him, then okay, fine. You can make your own solo film. And ultimately, if you introduce the character and the audience doesn't connect with them, you're going to have to wait a few years and get a new actor for that character and try a different approach to it. They did that with The Flash. People hate Ezra Miller, and rightfully so. Hey, we have a musical theater stereotype, a South Park cliche character here. Let's invest $300 million into a movie about this hated actor. Anyway, I hope they didn't introduce and then advertise the hell out of it. I hope they didn't introduce the Blue Beetle earlier in the DC universe. Maybe I missed it, but it's like the extended versus the regular or something like that. So you have this movie that is specifically for a weird combination of personality traits. It's for Mexicans, but SJW Mexicans, which is an audience for sure that they're out there. But then, and they're trying to sell it to all Latin America. So it's, Mexico, a dozen countries, Central America, and then a dozen countries in Latin America. It's like, yeah, we made this movie for Germans, Polish, and Russian. Do you understand the history of those three areas? Not at all. Good luck with that. So there's an audience for like a Mexican movie for sure, as movies in the 80s and 90s have shown. But the other part of the Venn diagram that has to overlap is are they also into this genre of superhero movies about a character? If you ask Mexicans like their favorite superhero character, it's probably going to be Spider-Man and Batman and Superman and whoever else, or Iron Man or Daredevil or who's the other cool one? Those were my favorites growing up. Even now, some Batman stuff you can go back and read. But it's like, oh, this character's Spanish. It's like, yeah, that's gonna give him a few more points. But Spider-Man is gonna be the number one. Like Tony Stark, he was a little ambiguous because he had that little mustache. Which, if you see one little mustache, you think, oh, it must be Spanish Latin of some sort. like he's Elizabeth Warren Latin. Anyway, the thing is, the Venn diagrams of people who want to see these movies and are also it's a Mexican audience. There's just not enough people who are on board with a character they've probably never heard of just because it's a Latin character. So that's where it kind of falls apart. And you only got 25 million on the opening weekend. And there's a meme of the DC audience on the internet, and it's huge, and the DC audience in the theater, and it's like, yeah, that's just weird. They just don't show up for these movies. So the movie bombed. Even for a low budget movie, which this was, it still has to do better than 25 million opening weekend. Now the SJW globalist useful idiot director who made the movie, who like, if you hate somebody by their tattoos, it's like, oh, you're covered in tattoos and you're just a cliche stereotype spouting all this Frankfurt School Alinsky talking points. Never seen this before. You must be unique individual, stunning and brave. I'm sure everything you say is original and not just derivative from things you've heard like third hand from the internet. Just the Jabberwockies with a hand up your ass, manipulating your mouth. Anyway, so this director, douchebag, made the movie, and we'll probably have some stupid Marxist talking points about this movie, but the words don't matter. The words never matter. Why would they matter? Actions matter. Butts and seats ultimately matter. The numbers of a bomb speak louder than his woke globalist talking points about systemic and systematic and colonizations of disenfranchised Moses Mordecai Levy Babylines and everything my puppet masters told me to say. Everything they say is so effing stupid. It's like yelling at the corn to get it to grow faster. He was doing interviews this whole time with all the woke talking points about Mexican representation, which translates into nobody else is welcome to see the movie. You're not wanted here. That's what it sounds like. Oh, well, that's not what he meant. That's what he meant. Or, I mean, obviously, I'm right and you're wrong because the movie only did $25 million opening weekend, so you can just go eat a whole big bag of D. So if you're a director and you come across like a filthy, unlikable, smug, woke, I'll say see you next Tuesday. YouTube, they're really not. I mean, I really just need to say the words like quite often, but YouTube won't let me. So then you have an actor who knows how to you're gonna have to bring an actor with you. Like if you're the director and somebody Warner Brothers should take you aside and say, hey, you're not really connecting with an audience. Bring this actor with you who's much more likable. Are you saying I'm not likable? Yeah, because I have to say that because we're dealing with hundreds of millions to $500 million potentially in a movie. We have to sell the heck out of it, and we need to sell the heck out of this movie, and you're not coming across as a guy who's going to do that. You're going to have to, all this woke Marxist talking points, dial it back. We're going to have to put butts in seats. You have to connect to the audience and bring them in carefully, not push them away. And right now you're pushing them away. And I'm sure I would write it down what I want to say to try to cajole him more gently. But, ultimately you're dealing with large sums of money. You got to start turning profits on these movies. You can't have this guy go out there and alienate the audience. That's not a selling point. All the colonization stuff, you're not selling immigration and illegals and all this kind of Trump or whatever. It's not bringing people into the theaters at all. So you're gonna have to stop it and bring an actor with you. Either you're gonna have to have a come to Jesus moment and turn things around, or bring an actor with you who really has a more marketable personality. And I'm sure there's someone who can put that into nicer words than me, because I would be more blunt. But anyway. I mean, ultimately, the thing is, you have to look at this guy, look in the eye and go, we're talking about $500 million involved in this project, if this thing does well and makes a profit. We have to get the audience in the friggin' theater, friend. You can't go talking about all this bullshit that nobody cares about. Because, but this is my time to talk about No, if you want to talk about all that stupid stuff, get on social media and talk about that. And honestly, if you weren't somebody in Hollywood, you'd have 1,200 followers because nobody gives a shit about any of that kind of stuff. Anyway, so the problem with these smug SJWs is that they're in this echo chamber and they've been in there so effing long, and nobody tells them that they're being these whiny little bitches kvetching about representation and taco marginalization, and you're a victim while you're in your mansion in your gated communities. Follow me here. It doesn't sell tickets. And I only say this because all this actually happened. Just like the Maui mayor, governor, police department, that water guy, Manuel, and the emergency team killed their own people. Because those, those 15-minute cities won't build themselves. They just gonna bulldoze everything. The government will seize the land. Anyway, so this Chupacabra poop movie, what else to say about it? It's like a movie you're not going to see. I could really just make things up off the top of my head. It has something about America funding Israel to the tune of $20 billion a year to build her border wall, while America doesn't have one herself. They didn't have money in the budget. And America literally has homeless tent cities that are actually growing every year. It's kind of weird. It's like a phenomenon that neither the left or the right seems to care about. Elliot, yeah, enjoying that crime? San Francisco, California? Oh, yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah, it's great. $2 million from my house up in San Francisco, and the car gets broken into every 3 months. It's fabulous. It's enrichment. Oh, they close your local store. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Don't worry, we order from Amazon now. But they're breaking into the Amazon trucks? Yeah, that's great. That's great. So when you put stuff in your garage, they drill out they drill a hole in the garage with the, what do you call that? Like the 2-inch drill bit, the circle, I don't know what they call that, circle punch out drill bit thing. And then they put like a coat hanger in there to pop the lock, and then they just clean out your garage. Sometimes they'll do a home invasion, break into the interior of the house. You guys, San Francisco liberals enjoying that? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Gonna keep voting blue? Yeah, we're voting blue. You fucking. Get some stock up, boys. Stock up on everything. So Susan Sarandon explains that all wars in the Middle East are actually proxy wars for that same country I just mentioned, which is probably going to get the channel deleted. And I wish I could edit these videos. Yeah, you'd hear a lot of bleeps in the videos, and the whole thing would just be. I mean, the thing is, it would just be too obvious what I was saying. Anyway, so she says, if I talk too much about those proxy wars, it's all that other stuff. Well, they'll just I'll be tragically deleted with 2 in the back of the head for a drug deal gone wrong. Like, oh, Susan Sarandon, you're 60, 70 years old. You're Hollywood. You're out in drug deals gone wrong. That's how you got deleted. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens when you. Anyway, so definitely blame the blonde-haired, blue-eyed people for everything, and never look behind the curtain. Just focus all your hatred on blonde people. That's pretty much the summation of the movie. Like I said, I had to surf to see it because nobody paid for the ticket, and I can't bring myself to pay to see it. But you can trust me that my reviews is pretty accurate, and it's not like you're going to see the movie anyway. Even when it streams, which just means that a high-quality version will come to the high seas like an hour after it gets done processing to my video card. I mean, to someone who isn't me. It's a video card where they, you plug the coax right into the aftermarket video card in the software program, and rip it in high def and upload it to where the fudge you want using a VPN. You're going to turn it off after 20 minutes because you're just not into it. Anyway, join the Subscribe Star, and I will see you guys on Odyssey and BitChute. Like, comment, and subscribe.